Hello everyone. When our residence permit was approved, we were so happy because one, I knew now we are going to be united with my husband. Second, I knew that I'm going to make my life better than it was in Kenya. But there's no one who had ever told me this. Relocating to a new country also comes with its own challenges. So welcome to my YouTube channel, From the Village to the Netherlands. And for those who are new here, the purpose of my YouTube channel, it's about my life experience, whereby I talk about them because I want to encourage someone there. And again, I want to start a girls' education foundation just to support those poor girls back in my mother's village where I was born, I was raised, to pay their school fees because their parents cannot pay. So by subscribing, by liking, by sharing, you will have helped me so much to accomplish this big dream. So we arrived in the Netherlands 2020, was the end of October, and the weather was so harsh. October, it is autumn here, and it rains so much, and the rain comes with a lot of hard wind. To be honest, I'd never experienced such weather. You know, it's like it's raining Monday to Monday. Like in Kenya, when it rains probably like 1 hour, 2 hours, then it dries and then the sky is blue again, you know, and then the sun shines. Here, this morning, you've not seen the sun. The whole sky is gray. And you see, Netherlands is such a small country. And I'd never known why when it's raining, the whole country is covered by clouds, you know. You cannot see, it's like that side it's raining and the other side it's clear. Such a funny experience. So that gave us a lot of challenge because one was Corona time and there were no many activities. People were only going to the supermarkets, and that what we could do, just to walk to the supermarket and walk back to the house. And if it's raining too hard, we could not walk. And you cannot even use an umbrella because it's going to be blown away by the hard wind. So most of the time we stayed in the house. So that alone was not a good experience. Somehow we went into depression because after some few weeks, the excitement we had was no more there. And somehow we started to feel lonely. And then in November, things worsened, you know. It was not raining as in October, but a cold was too much. When we came, it was around 15 degrees, but in November it goes to around 4 degrees. And then in December, it is around 1. And then in January, it is the worst month, and Feb in the whole season. Remember, it was very cold, but it was a little bit exciting because it was our first time to see snow. So from October to around March, I can say honestly, it was not a good experience to us. At least for my daughter, she had somehow started going to school, and there she was experiencing another life, but she was not happy about it. One, she had to be enrolled in a class where she had to start learning Dutch. Remember, she doesn't know anyone. Remember, Dutch language is not easy. I remember one time she came to me and she told me, Mama, why can't we go back to Nairobi? Why did we have to come here? I don't want to be in this country. I cannot understand the language. It is too hard. I felt so depressed. And somehow I regretted why I had to relocate. So, my point here is, if you are trying to relocate to a new country, remember that you will have to face some challenges. And what do you do when you face those challenges? You have to remember this: there is nothing which stays forever. I could encourage my daughter, just work hard. One day you are going to speak this language fluent, and one day you'll sit down and thank God that we came to this country and you were so patient enough, because you will have achieved a lot. And to be honest with you, my daughter now is turning 21 years old. We came here when she was 15, and she speaks fluent Dutch, better than English. She has achieved so much. Yesterday she got a Dutch passport, and she told me, "Mama, thank you so much for telling me that to be resilient, because I love this country." That is my advice for those who have plans to relocate to another country. Another challenge we faced was homesick. Remember, we did not have any friends. The only friend we had is my husband. And we had a very big problem when it comes to language, because once, he could not speak fluent English. Second, we did not know Dutch. So the little excitement we had with him when we came the first few weeks, it was finished. And then we had to face reality. You wake up in the morning. Here in the Netherlands, you don't have to wash your clothes with your hands like I used to do. You don't have to clean your house every day. It's like you wake up in the morning, you take your breakfast, and then there's nothing you are doing. So because of that, I gained a lot of weight, from 68 kilos to 75 kilos. My sugar was too high, such that I was diagnosed with diabetes too. And I had a bad homesick. I was doing nothing. And then I was missing my family back home, my big daughter, and I was missing the sun, the life in Kenya. But we stayed positive, and we knew that one day we are going to adjust and we are going to get used to this kind of life. For those who have plans to relocate to new countries, know that you're gonna miss your country. Food, the sun, if you are relocating to these countries which experience crazy cold. Another challenge we experienced was the systems here in the Netherlands. For example, the public transport. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to remember that. One, they are very expensive. Two, they don't come to your doors as like in Kenya. Matatus pass just in the estate, and then the conductors call you and they wait for you. Here, there's nothing like that. You have to walk from your house. You have to bike from your house. You go to the bus station, and then you pick the bus or the train from there. I was stressed because, one, I could not bike. And it's like everyone here in the Netherlands bikes. It is the mode of transport. You bike from your apartment, you go to the bus station or train station, and then you park your bike there. And then you get into the train. And when you come back, you pick your bike and you go to your apartment, But you see, for me, I did not know how to bike. There is a video posted some times ago that how I struggled to bike. And you remember, these buses comes with time. Before I got used of calculating how many minutes will I walk from my apartment to the station, because sometimes I could go running and immediately after, just at the station, the train leaves. And I have to sit there. It is very cold. It is -4 degrees, and I have to wait for the next train or bus which comes after 30 minutes. And I cannot go back to the house because it's another walk. When it comes to the systems, the time management, actually Dutch people keep time. In Kenya, I was not used like, come and see me tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'm there at 10 o'clock. There's no problem. Here, even if it's your mother, first you have to make an appointment with your mother. And you are going to meet, let's say, at 11 o'clock. You have to be there at 11 o'clock. Here, you make an appointment and you have to keep the time of the appointment. So, one time I had an appointment with a job. And of course, I was new. I'd just known how to bike. And here, when you have an appointment, you are given the address. And you have to Google and you have to maneuver and you look where the address is. So in the process of all that, I don't know the way. I'm using the Google Maps and sometimes it takes you to the longest way, So because of that, I arrived at the interview 5 minutes late. I pressed the bell and the guy came and he told me, sorry, there's no appointment, there's no interview because you are late. Then I was trying to explain to him. He banged the door and then I had to go. That is how I lost that job. But since from that day, I learned a lesson and I always keep time. So keeping time and the way people work here, it was such a challenge for me. But I thank God that I adjusted and today I can never be late for any interview or appointment. Another challenge we faced was how life is expensive in this country. It was so funny, You go to a supermarket, you want to buy banana, or 4 banana, they cost you €3.50. I convert that money to Kenyan money, that's around, let's say that's around 700 shillings. How can you buy 4 bananas with 700 shillings? That was a shock to me. Even avocado, just a single small one, you buy it at €2.29. That's like 500 Kenyan shillings. Life is so expensive in this country. The transport is very expensive, food is very expensive, insurance is very expensive. I'm telling you, everything is expensive. And for me to adjust to that kind of life, it took me time. Even today, I still convert the money, to Kenyan shillings. And then I remember my daughter always tells me, Mama, you have to stop this. If you want to enjoy life here, you have to stop converting euros into Kenyan shillings, But the typical Kenyan I am, who was raised in extreme poverty, used to convert, but nowadays I'm a little bit upgrading, So for those who have plans to relocate to new countries, know that it's gonna be so expensive than your country. Be prepared to get the shock of your life. Another challenge we experienced was the language. We live in the northern part of the Netherlands, and it's just a small village. Being a small village, you find that everyone speaks the local language, which is Dutch. Of course, people here speak English. In fact, almost in the whole Europe, Netherlands is on the top, the countries which speak English. You find even in the village here we are, all people speak English, but because they are used to speak their language, the Dutch, not normal for them to speak it. Curaçao was colonized by the Dutch people. That means there are so many of them here, and of course they speak the language, and most of them are black as us. So when you meet these local people, they greet you. They used to think we are also from the colony, you know, and they used to think that we know the language. When you tell them you don't understand, they switch to English, but you cannot share stories with them, you know. So because of that barrier, it was such a big problem. And even in my house, because my husband could not speak fluent English, we could not share stories, talk about anything because of the language barrier. And my daughter was so depressed in the beginning. But for her, within 2 to 3 months, she had already made friends in the school, and she had already started knowing the language, and she did it so fast. Within 6 months, she had already known how to speak it, and she could understand it, you know. But for me, it took time because, one, I did not go to school. My husband could not afford to pay for me school, so I was learning it online. Of course, I could try with my man, but again, it was not that simple, and he was not patient enough to know that I am new. The Dutch language is very hard. I adjusted, and today I can rate myself that I can speak 60% Dutch language and understanding. Anything can never be the same forever. Be patient. If you're already in a new country, put more effort to learn the language and try your best not to speak your native language. Try the best all the time to talk to the locals. It is very important. For me, I work with old people, and the fact that they cannot speak the English, it is an advantage for me because I speak my Dutch, and through that, I'm exercising and I'm making it better. So it is always good. You speak what you speak, make the mistake, don't care about the grammar. So long as the people understand you and you understand them, that is the most important thing. For those who have plans to relocate to new countries, for those who are already in new countries and you are new and you are facing these challenges, I want to encourage you that we faced them, and today we don't regret why we came to this beautiful country. We were so patient enough. We took actions. We worked on the rules, and that's why we are here. So I want to tell those who just relocated to new country, for those who have plans to relocate to new countries, be 100% sure that you are going to face challenges, and at one time you would be so depressed and you would think to go back to your country. But remember, nothing stays forever. What you need to do is to be positive about the situation, to work hard, especially when it comes to the language, to try your best to integrate with the locals. And if you do that, one day you will see you appreciate yourself, that you are patient enough, because that is what we underwent, and now we are here saying we merit. And I cannot think of going back to Kenya because I already have friends here. I have my work. I can speak the language. I integrate so well. The culture is getting it to me. So know that. And please, if my story has touched you, subscribe, leave a comment, give me a thumb. Don't forget to like, and stay tuned because my next video I'm going to talk about one of the most culture shock I experienced when I came to this country. Thank you so much and be blessed.